Okay, well, we're back from our break, and let's pick up after all of those getting to know yous. We got a taste of the personalities and the methodologies that each of our kindred have as a part of who and what they are. There's also a cat, so you can enjoy that. This is a familiar. So if any of you ever have the animalism discipline, you too can have your own cat just show up whenever. So here we are. We are back in Cleveland after having explored its various aspects. And each of our four kindred had received a mysterious envelope with a red seal bearing the sheriff's insignia. And they were told to meet at a place and a time and to not be late. The nature of that meeting is unknown, though I suppose we will find out. So we are back here, and let me bring up one thing off to the side here. Do. Because when I reset my computer earlier, the links I had to reset it like 10 times for it to work. All right, that's what I needed. Now, there is a grand tradition for any of you who don't know in Vampire the Masquerade and really the world of darkness in general, that while it is a place of amplified emotion, there is a lot of somber feelings and pessimism, or the worst parts of humanity are often accentuated, and even to a point where it's necessary for survival. Among the darker elements, there is always a sense uh of maybe parody or some moments, some points of light in the dark. And if you remember, for those of you who were here in the first session, there was a uh, there was a parallel reference made over here in Cheryl's introduction, where she ended up going up to her boss's room, and in order to try and connect with humanity, Eric had displayed a bottle of a popular barbecue sauce that you could see right up here. In the interim of us playing, detail was given to the reference. So instead of Sweet Baby Ray's, with whom I do not have a sponsorship, sadly, it's not bad barbecue sauce. And if you go for their sugar free flavors, like the hickory and everything, it's good. I am not sponsored, but I mean, hey, Sweet Baby Ray's, let's talk. So instead, there is often parody, right? Just how there, instead of something like Quicken Loan, which is now Rocket Mortgage, there was a reference to Red Rocket Mortgage, as well as Quick and Erie, which is the company for which our venture here works. Now, Dark Wolf uh, took it upon herself to actually fully label Sweet Rabies Bay, and it's something that we can laugh at because it alleviates the somber tone and the mystery, and it will also help to make the poignant moments more poignant. So for right now, everyone, you may enjoy Sweet Rabies Bay and the mascot that the venture boss of this billion-dollar loan company sees as complete degeneracy among the current generation of kind. Uh, And for fun little things too, if any of you have ever played the Bloodlines video game, you'll find something like that with their vending machines. So for it, by the way, when this came out, this was like, oh, energy drinks or like high caffeine stuff was like just kind of becoming a big thing. So you can always go to a vending machine and get yourself 13 because there's 13 stimulants in every bottle. A bottle of Seed, Rondo, or Sex XX. If you're playing Vampire, it's okay to laugh sometimes and have a little bit of fun. And especially because of my personality, I can't help but do this stuff. It is just it's a compulsion. So enjoy your sweet Rabies Bay. However, we now need to get back to what was happening. Now, a few nights have passed. The lot of you have been able to recover your willpower. Your blood is stable as you have been asked to prepare yourself for being here at this time. Where is here and at this time? We'll get there. But for mechanical purposes of what we're doing, you're as full as you can be, and your willpower is recovered to where it would normally be. Pardon me. As you've had time to hunt, you've had time to shore up any business or requests. If you've needed to flex your letter, then you can. In a mechanical sense, having that letter, at least for the duration of the time that it exists, would have given you something like a dot or two of status in terms of getting into or out of places that you needed to be. So if you want to have some fun and imagine as the characters here, I don't know, like what would you do, or some things you talk about in the meantime. Then I mean, consider it. If Clyde, if you have this letter and you're like, oh man, this is it. This is like big dick energy. Like I get to wave around this letter. Like, yeah, I'm important. I'm gonna go see the sheriff. Cool. If you think that'll help you in some way. But regardless of how it makes you feel or what you do, I'm going to presume that the four of you are showing up at the place and the time, and we will have that get together here, as you are at a park here by the water, and the times that you all had is the same. You are expected to be here by then because this is presumably when you would be picked up. That said, and having, a couple hours after sunset to be able to come out here, would uh are any of you waiting until that last moment? Are any of you hopefully not being fashionably late but early in some capacity? And how are you each getting to this park in order to be picked up here? Okay. So you want do you want that ride to be Clyde? Clyde can refuse in this case, but what? Clyde, would you like to pick up Wade for I mean, you have somewhere to be, not that you know that Wade does too, but oh, the audio cut out. You said Clyde is going to something and it's been staticky or not staticky, stuttering. Okay, pick up the phone. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Oh.
Got my own gig that I gotta accomplish. It ain't got nothing to do with the bitch. It's important, you know? We important folk have important things to do. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give
You
you a
going
different number.
anywhere near the park?
Coincidentally, yeah.
Well, good. Pick me up at such and such address. Click.
This motherfucking. He's gonna owe me one. And Clyde will go ahead and pick him up. He's gonna bring him. He's gonna go ahead and essentially take him to the location listed, presuming that they both communicate on where they're going.
While we're in the car, Wade will actually pull out the sheriff's letter and actually break open the seal finally and read it. Because he hasn't read it yet.
Well, you would have had to read it to get the day and time that you have to.
Oh, yeah,
It was on the letter.
He's reminding himself.
Okay.
Oh, God. You got one of those, too?
You too? You get in trouble?
Did you?
Did
you just drag me into
of.
trouble? Did it have anything to do with that box?
What box?
Look, all I'm gonna say is if it's got anything to do with you, I'm free of charges. I did
Some
nothing.
strange dude showed up, gave me a damn letter, said be there or don't. And my boss said I probably should be there, so I called you for a ride. Is that so bad?
Well, depending. Bad is about perspective.
Yeah. Right now, my perspective is I'm supposed to be here in about 40 minutes. What about you? You got a different time?
No. We're gonna head right on time. But let me make a point. For all these rides, it ain't free.
I pay well.
You do. But if this ends up being more than it needs to be, and you want to bring another gift basket with you in the trunk, we're gonna have to have a different discussion.
Fair enough. Fair enough, pretty boy. Let's get on down there, because they be waiting.
All right, Roadkill.
He doesn't even bat an eye at it.
Now, for Clyde and Wade, as you two are here, with the night having come and you are going to be needing to be in a public park, are either of you going to blush? Or are you confident in any sort of disguise or makeup or something? Not that it's necessarily like, oh, it's an active park at night or anything. It's not like there's a Ferris wheel people can ride until, midnight or something, but...
How populated is it when we say park at night?
There's, like, some basic lights. It's really just kind of a grassy area with some trees that's by the water. There's nothing, there's no vendors. It's just a public space, but there's nothing really that is happening actively at any point in time. It's a nice place, but
simply puts on one of the face masks and turns the collar up on his trench coat. It looks very either stalker-ish or flasher-ish.
Face mask is like a little bandit mask or something, or what?
No, like a medical face mask.
Oh, got it. All right. Clyde.
God, feel like I'm out here escorting a hospice patient.
I got your hospice right here.
Someone's gonna
Did
come
your
up and
date
ask
like
which
my
old person's
picture?
home I stole from. Hmm?
Did your date like my picture?
What pic? 2 and 2 connects. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, most days.
Look, she had too many questions after that.
I'm sure you had good answers.
Yeah, bad prank gone wrong.
So Clyde, are you looking pretty, or are you riding normal until you have to blush?
He's riding normal until he has to.
Sure. Okay. So you two will arrive when you do together. Now we have Ivy and or Cheryl. What are your individual or coincidental or purposeful plans for getting to the park?
Well,
Ivy
Cheryl believes
has-
that being on.
Go ahead.
Cheryl believes that being on time is late, so she would have gotten there at least 5 minutes from now.
Okay. What was your intention on getting there? Are you walking? Biking?
She's gonna walk.
Sure. Plenty of time for you to walk from your apartment to get here. Ivy, then?
Ivy's gonna show up a little early. She's got her own.
How early is early?
Sorry, cat. She'll probably show up about 20 minutes early. Give her enough time to kind of look around.
Okay. And if Clyde and Wade, if this took place 40 minutes until go time, especially if you're taking Clyde's car, then you two will be here first. And so you two lovers can smooch in the dark park while you're waiting for the others to show up. And then it would be... you two would be here. No one else. There's like the basic lights that are on, but no one's really walking here. No one's walking their dog. No one's fishing. It's just a nice out of the way. It's a public spot, but it's not a place. It's just kind of a little wedge of land that they put some grass on, and like there you go. So Ivy, you don't know Wade or Clyde, correct? Okay.
No.
Well then,
At first opportunity, when we finally get to where we're supposed to be, as soon as somebody's not looking, I am ducked into obfuscation, and I am leaned up against a tree, being as quiet as a mouse.
Oh, okay. So you're dipping out of the car.
As soon as there's no one looking, I like to do a wits and awareness roll if you want.
It's right now. It's just you and Clyde. So if you're waiting for Clyde not to look, or you could be like, Clyde, don't look. I'm embarrassed, and then
Oh, I don't even wait. Like as Clyde's like getting out of the car, it's like boom. If I don't see anybody around, it's obfuscation. Okay. It's
sure.
Boom.
Okay.
And I'll even whisper.
I
ain't going nowhere, pretty boy. Don't get excited.
Then Ivy, as you approach, you would see a really nice Porsche parked in this out of the way park, and presumably there's someone inside it, but it's you in a Porsche. What are you saying or doing? Now, conversely, Clyde, you're in a really nice Porsche, and there's someone you don't recognize that's actually walking like through the park. And
yeah, she would have parked a little further away and walked over to where she's supposed to be meeting up at, and she's not paying too much mind to the Porsche because hot rod drivers, they're gonna bring their dates out that way for who knows what anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Clyde is going to use heightened senses, and he's just going to pay very close attention to any figures he sees walking about, and especially paying attention to their activities. The window is cracked.
Okay.
The windows are up just enough to remain tinted and generally hide his identity, but they are cracked just enough so that he can hear what's going on outside.
Okay. Ivy, are you keeping a distance then in case
Yeah.
the Porsche goes a-rockin'?
Yeah, she is.
All right. Well, I have to imagine be uncomfortable because as much as the meme is the back of a Volkswagen, I can't imagine a Porsche affords a lot unless someone gets really comfortable with a gear shifter really quick. So, then, so you keep a comfortable distance, Ivy. Wade, I mean, here's a person that's like came here and isn't leaving, but also isn't getting closer. And of course, Clyde, you're there, just kind of always peeking out, kind of as nonchalantly as you can.
And leaning close to the window and whisper, "Somebody you know."
Not a clue. Is she cute though?
We supposed to be meeting her.
Not a clue. But I'd like to.
Wade will, as quietly and as stealthily as possible, actually open the driver door.
What? Oh, yeah.
All right.
What are you doing?
So that's a very like. I mean, quiet could be whatever, but like opening a door is opening a door. So I mean, Ivy, go ahead and wits awareness to see if you notice a door opening. Because you're there, like you may not be looking, but I mean, if the door is gonna open, then you know, like, what's going on? You guys smooching in there?
Oh!
Wow!
Crit.
All right. Wow! All right,
Okay.
Ivy actually has been eavesdropping and really wants to know who's smooching or riding that gear shifter.
All right,
in
one
there.
second. So
Come on.
that's against,
Those shenanigans seem familiar to you?
All right, so
Oh god.
now maybe Ivy, this is. I mean, your senses. Fortunately, the past couple nights have been pretty good for you. But damn, if that door didn't just open up on its own. It's a fancy car. Maybe it has one of those. Like it has just some automatic thing or.
that's my
something.
wits and obfuscate versus her success. If she notices me or not.
Well,
Well,
she doesn't have a. She's not using sentience just yet.
Yeah, like this
So-
is just the door. Like not
yeah,
even
okay.
you. So, like just the physical metal door. So yeah, I mean, Ivy, you could think what you want, but door opens and closes. I don't know. Maybe whoever's in there like had to like open it out and just like toss something on the parking lot or whatever. I don't know.
Drop a condom.
Yeah. Are you doing anything with this information, Ivy, or are you playing it cool?
She's just watching curiously for a couple seconds, then shaking her head and checking time.
Beyond, so as you you catch it in the corner of your eye, you look over. Though you did very well. Not that necessarily, I believe Cheryl was trying to approach stealthily, but you would be able to notice Cheryl approaching the park as well, and I'm sure you two are familiar with each other. Now, Cheryl, you might notice the car before you notice Ivy. It's a Porsche, it's a nice executive kind of car, business-ish car. Or at least your boss might tell you it makes for a really good business expense. Whether or not it's needed is another thing. But you... I don't know, Cheryl, it's your approach now. You haven't seen Ivy yet, not that she's necessarily hiding, but there is a Porsche in the parking lot in this kind of out-of-the-way park. What are you saying or doing as you're approaching 5 minutes before you're supposed to be there?
Yeah. Did the note specifically state on what vehicle is picking us up?
It was going to be a specially marked van.
Okay. I'm gonna ignore the sports car then.
Okay.
And just walk to the destination.
refresh myself here. Vitae. I mean Kool-Aid.
Sweet Raby Bays comes in Kool-Aid flavors too.
Ivy, do you wish to approach Cheryl, or are you going to be standoffish?
She's going to be a little standoffish, just trying to figure out why Cheryl's there without actually asking just yet.
Okay. Well, being standoffish is fine because it's only 5 minutes until this van is supposed to arrive. And wouldn't you know, pulling into the parking lot on time, Cheryl, this probably makes your unbeating heart happy. This was a very concise van.
She was like just looking at her watch to start timing how late they were going to be.
And it looks like it's a Parks and Recreation van. Though all of you can see that it is a white van. It seemingly has government plates on it. But there's something about the Parks and Recreation van that's probably the fact that it has a... If you look, you can see it, but that seems to be like a big vinyl magnetic sign on the side of it. Usually, vans that might be in a more permanent status of serving the city might not have one of those. But a Parks and Rec van pulls up, and someone who is wearing a uniform of a civil servant will hop out.
Oh, look, Wade. It's the old folks home. Come to take you back. Get the fuck out of my car.
I've been outside your car, standing outside your window.
I'll just see the Porsche start bouncing around as, like, Clyde and Wade are, like, kicking each other back and
Ivy,
forth
it's
to get out
happening.
of the vehicle.
Wade will actually clumsily roll out of the other side of the vehicle, not wanting to wrestle in that tight and closed space.
Wrestle.
Kind of stand up, dust himself off, make sure his mask's in place, pull his hat down a little better, tighten his trench coat up a little bit. Rides here.
Oh, good evening, everyone, says the man getting out of the van. Oh, odd hour to be out at the park, but I suppose no time like the present to always check for litter. Now, I don't suppose, as he walks up to Cheryl first, while I'm passing through, you're allowed to be at the park, of course, public property, but, ma'am, I don't suppose you have any litter that I can dispose of? Cans, maybe a paper good? He holds his hand out to you.
You mean like this?
Yeah, Cheryl's gonna hand over the letter.
Oh, perfect. Great way to recycle. Gotta save the city and everything. He comes over to you next, Wade. Takes your paper. Yep, I can recycle this as well. Well, thank you for turning it over. I hope you're enjoying your stay at the park. What about you, ma'am? He shouts over to you, Ivy.
She's gonna hold it up, and when he comes over, just hand it over.
Oh, thank you for not littering. He looks back from where you're at, Ivy, over to the Porsche. Is there anyone in there?
Clyde comes out of the vehicle. You hear as it locks.
You got some garbage in there you want me to haul?
He walks over, adjusting his leather jacket, presents the note. Just...
Well. Some might find it to be demeaning work, but it's an honest living. He takes your invitation. Now, I believe, I actually might have something for you all here. Tell you what, come with me, for people who are participating in our recycling program here. I got a reward for you. It's in the back of the van.
Of course it is.
Where else would I keep it?
Wade
That's not
will take the first steps. He'll actually walk over to the van and lightly pat the magnetic sign that he noticed. Yeah.
That's right.
Walks to the back, looks inside to make sure that there's no surprises waiting.
Doors open up. It's capable of carrying you all in sort of bench seats along the side. Is it a Parks and Recreation van? Probably not. There might be a small trash can inside of it, but you're not seeing a bunch of maintenance tools or like lawn and garden style stuff. But there are some benches that look rather accommodating.
So it's a field trip then, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So technically the reward is the back of the van, but yeah, you will get your reward from the field trip, so to speak. People who step up and do the city service, do get, acknowledged for it. Though he looks around. Looks over to you, Ivy, because you're kind of like being a wallflower off to the side against a tree. No one was snooping around, right?
No.
Okay. Well, sir, while you're already looking in the back of the van, can you hand me that those other two signs you see back there?
Sure. He'll reach in and pull them out. Read them as he does.
You see, as you hand them out and he takes them, they're signs for the salt mine company. And he goes to the sides. He changes out the magnetic kind of slap-ons, puts the Parks and Rec signs inside. Looks over at you, Clyde. Well, when you gotta go, you gotta go. Park's not necessarily bad. Can't promise what's going to happen to the Porsche by the time you get back, but you might want to lock your doors.
Already locked.
That's what you get
Poor
for being
Clyde's like,
flashy.
oh my god.
It's not exactly the chariot of choice here.
Cheryl at this point has taken out a notebook and is making a note that this is not subtle enough. and offers like suggested for more secure locations.
Clyde will kind of lean over Cheryl's shoulder. What you got written down there?
Without even looking at him, I would appreciate if you kept your distance.
You know,
Wade's face will poke over her shoulder and stare down at whatever she's writing without even speaking.
Same to you.
Mhm.
Might want to be careful with
Ladies
that one.
first.
She's a little uptight.
Ladies first. I guess we're going for a ride.
nah. I like them when they play hard to get.
They're
You know,
not-
I very much had a, whoa, little mama, kind of a, like...
Ivy's going to give... Ivy, upon hearing that from Clyde, is going to give him a confused look, glance over to Wade like... figures you swing both ways.
Wait.
Are you all piling in the van that's clearly not Parks and Rec?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm-
Cheryl will probably be the first to get in.
Okay.
Followed by Ivy.
Clyde
And
just
wouldn't
looks
you
to the,
know, the van takes you away from this very out-of-the-way park. Clyde, you're welcome to longingly touch the back window as your Porsche grows smaller and smaller behind the van. Mrs. or well, I don't know, Mrs. 2 or Mr. I don't know, whatever. You're off. Now, as you're driving through the city, Clyde, this is not nearly as fast enough, but the person's competent, if kind of chatty, as you are. He gets in and he changes his clothing, which was kind of a tearaway set of like a colored covers from the city working uniform into one of the salt mines. And as you're being driven throughout,
I'd like to use my larceny and take his discarded uniform.
I mean, it's if you want to just take it, it's sitting in the seat next to him. He's sitting in the. There's like 2 bucket seats in the front, and then there's 2 benches that face each other in the back. If you want to take it, it's you can. He's not guarding it. He might notice it's gone because it's not in the front seat anymore. But
that's the thing. I don't want to make it obvious.
There's only so much that because he said it right next to him. So if it's gone, then yeah.
It'll have to wait till we get out then.
Yeah, like maybe on the way out, that might be something. But as you're being driven through, he asks you all, now from what I understand, you're new. And he just sort of like leaves that open. I don't suppose any of you have been to the salt mines, have you?
I don't know if you know this, but the only time I ever have to deal with any salts is during the winter on the roads.
Ah, well, you're welcome for that then. Where do you think it comes from?
The dirt.
Well, kind of, but the dirt under the lake. How about that? What if I were to tell you, sir, that there's actually an entire area, almost the size of the city proper itself, carved out beneath the lake? Pretty cool, huh?
Now, I'd say that's very uninteresting. Next.
Do any of the rest of you have any questions for your professor during this part of the ride?
Wade's just being very attentive without being obvious about it. Listening, watching mannerisms, seeing how he interacts with other people.
Now, if you had questions on the bait and switch, it's for a reason. Well, lately, there's been a lot of, some would call them protesters, others might call them domestic terrorists, outside of the salt mines. Think that we shouldn't be mining the salt from under the lake. And, well, they've sort of formed a barricade around the entrance, though it's been enforced they at least must let... they can protest outside, but they have to let vehicles do their business, especially because the salt is used in public infrastructure and such to keep the roads clean, and for business, food additives and the like. So they don't like it's being mined here. But if we were to go in any other vehicle but an official company one, we probably wouldn't be able to get in without a lot of harassment. But they see the sign, they gotta move, and that's just how it's been for a little while anyway. So I'm taking you in here. We're gonna... Well, there's nothing really special you have to do. While we are going underwater, you're not going to be needing any special equipment for it. We're going to enter the facility.
Hold on. Underwater?
Well, underground
if you
underwater.
Recall, he said the mine is under the lake.
Why are we going in a mine?
Because that's where you need to go. That's where you're supposed to be. Those were my orders.
Rather inconvenient location. She says, writing that down.
Need to be for what? A little clarity would be fantastic right now.
You have been summoned by the sheriff. And as such, as I am in the employ of the sheriff, I need to take you to see the sheriff. Otherwise, you would be in violation of your summons. And it just so happens that the sheriff conducts his business in the salt mines beneath the lake.
So you don't know anything else. You're just driving.
I know plenty
Sound
of things,
familiar?
but I don't know why you've
What's
been
in the
summoned.
box? Nothing. Inside joke.
He was hired to do a job and he's doing it. Sean. We don't need to assume that he can do more.
This sheriff got a name?
Kozad.
Kozad. Just Kozad?
As far as anyone knows. I'm sure he has a first name.
You got a name?
Of course.
Okay. Code name no. Well, you know our names because you read our letters.
Sure.
You work for the sheriff. You one of his boys?
Yes. Tell you what, call me Angel. How about that?
Angel.
I'm an angel delivering you unto the sheriff.
Deliver away. This ride, I'm gonna take a nap.
I would be impressed if you did. All four of you in the back. Like, as you hit a pothole, just... sorry about that. Anyway, as I was saying... We're gonna go into the
Incompetent driver.
Oh, loosen up, Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Oh no,
Cheryl,
Clyde
huh?
knows.
What's about your name, Toots? And he looks over to Ivy.
She's just tilting her head a little bit, studying him. Ivy.
Clyde. Nice to meet you all. Except for you. And he looks over, wait, I know you.
Man,
Judging by what I witnessed earlier, I certainly say you.
you'd say
Well-
what exactly?
That you two know each other very, very well.
Yep. Go with that.
No.
And-
absolutely not.
Wayne
No.
gives this drippy left eye obscene wink to Clyde.
Oh. Don't do that. My God. It's like looking at the Crypt Keeper.
I second that.
Break every damn mirror you come across, buddy. Alright, look, no, there's nothing between me and him. Nothing at all. But there's something I'd like between you and me.
Well, for right now,
We'll talk
I need
about
y'all
it.
to be quiet. Vans like this shouldn't be talking out the back. We're almost past the, we're almost to the campus here. So, settle down, because I don't want any undue business on the business van here.
All right.
And as you're pulling through, you can hear even, I mean, it's not like 3 a.m. or anything. It's still rather early in the evening, but there is a group of people who, as the van is approaching, maybe because they saw it approaching and they're kind of just like waking each other up, you can hear a lot of loud chants of like no more mining, like save our salt, things along those lines. But there's no thumps or crunches by the van, nor are there pounding sounds on the sides of the van. And you have been able to pass by the people protesting the mine, and you're now pulling into the campus proper here. As you pull in, the driver says, "Just a moment now. I'm going to make sure to close the door behind us. It's only courteous." He hops out, and you hear a tung 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 as a big metal sliding door to something almost like a hangar closes. "All right," he shouts. "You can come out now."
Oh, the second that he jumped out of the van, I swiped that uniform.
That's fine. He's not in the
It
van.
went
He's not
right
looking,
into the-
so...
It went right into the trench coat.
Depending on who's sitting next to Cheryl, they might be able to look over her shoulder and see that she has written a note that Clyde is getting too cozy with Ivy, and she should report it to Eric.
And welcome to their entire relationship.
Cheryl is just like, this is an HR violation.
Wade will be the first to open the rear doors again and offer a hand to help anybody out who approaches the back doors.
Now, as you all pile out, you are in a garage technically, but it is definitely more the size of a hangar. A fleet of vehicles can fit in here. You can hear, even inside the building, that there's all manner of conveyor belts and machinery. You can see through some of the windows in the hangar here that there's even ships that have pulled in that are here to take the salt to other places. They'll travel the Great Lakes, deliver it to other major cities, and we'll bring it up into Canada and even to some other places as well. There's not a lot of seagulls, but a couple of them are still up and squawking away. And there's not really a lot of sounds of people talking, as a lot of this is heavy machinery operated by very few people. That said, each of you are given a helmet with a light on it, as well as a safety vest. And you're asked to put these on.
Easy enough.
Yeah, put them on.
You gotta blend in. Now, if you'll follow me, just walk as if you can. There's no one here is really gonna care. Some might, but it'll be okay. Now, follow me. And he leaves the hangar, and you all go. You go marching out, and you can see more than just what was in the windows as you're traipsing along. There's some people on the ship. There's probably like one person up here operating one of the conveyors. But this is quite an operation. Fairly well lit, and anything that's not, that's why you have your helmet for and your reflective vests. But even though you are lit up and can be lit up, no one stops. No one cares. There's even like a little, it'd be like a little gator, little like four-wheeler that goes by with 2 employees on it. They don't look, they don't linger, they just keep going. And you enter one of the elevator houses that goes down. Angel tells you all, after you.
Wade doesn't miss a step, gets into the elevator. Express elevator to hell, going down.
Well, we are damn creatures after all.
Clyde, this place is very much harshing your vibe. There is nothing aesthetically pleasing about industrial machines and salt and bird poop and the smell of fish in the lake and everything. So if it's relevant, you are not feeling very well dice pool wise.
I get that -2.
And Ivy, there's almost a silence for you. Not that things like the voice that you talk to time and again are always talking, but there's almost like a low static, even if it's not talking. And here, it seems to be completely cut off for you. There is no... It would be like the opposite of tinnitus. Like, finally, it actually stopped. So there's something about
If
this
only.
place that, for whatever reason, has suppressed this voice or
If
instinct.
anyone's paying attention to her, she looks relieved to not have that staticky noise in her head, not have that voice just constantly murmuring to her.
Wade's constantly on the head swivel, literally making a mental sketch of every tunnel passage he can find. Every little nook and cranny is getting mentally scratched down. And will
Almost
make
there.
it into his notebook sooner or later.
Almost to the tunnels, but doing the same thing up above where people could hide, in or among the piles, up in the in the silos, in the processing areas, looking all around there. There's plenty. And for you, Cheryl, hey, everyone's wearing their safety gear. This actually seems to be a pretty competently run area.
She is like looking around and like waiting for OSHA violations. Basically, she has her pen ready to write something down.
And so, the elevator starts down. It's a bit of a ride. It's not quite as an express elevator. And it does shimmy and shake a couple times, but from the looks of it, it's probably made this trip approximately 500,000 times in its existence. This is by no means a new elevator, but it is doing its job. Where you descend does have some lights, though there's no evidence of people here currently. As you walk through the already established tunnels, now Wade, of course, you're like, okay. Like, you're getting strong, like, oh man, this is...
North's that way.
You very much are... I mean, in D&D, you're a dwarf with, like, stone cunning. Like this
Right.
is, like, Nos territory right now. Like, oh my gosh, there's tunnels and equipment to dig tunnels, and...
She said I could have a haven. This looks great.
Yeah, this is like Minecraft for you, very much so. Like, you're unlimited potential, and you're being taken through. There's definitely heavy machinery. No one's operating it, but it's there. Just parked out of the way, doing its thing. There's pillars holding everything up. Fortunately for you, Clyde, there's no dripping. I know the background audio has some. That's the best I could find, but there's no dripping. It's actually rather dry. If anything, I don't know if any of you are prone to desiccating. Wade, maybe, like, no medical judgment, but sometimes people just have that. So if any of you are prone to desiccate for some reason, though, you will probably find all of you will kind of have this, where your skin might start to tighten up, like as it is humid.
Fucking
And you
fabulous.
Yeah, this might actually, Wade, be pulling your skin kind of tighter. It's very therapeutic. What's the name for salt therapy? It's like halotherapy or something like that. So yeah, like, Wade, this is a bit of a spa day for you. There are no drips or puddles coming from the ceiling, but it is dry, and so your skin might tighten up a little bit, or certainly as you're walking, your clothes are getting a coating of dusted salt. And you reach a point, having passed no one else, and there is certainly a distinct lack of any kind of security cameras anywhere in this mine. For or against you all. You have been able to walk for a while, taking some turns here and there. Everything seems to be pretty consistent, pretty regular. And you reach what looks a little bit like a dead end. Well, here we are enthusiastically explains Angel. And he points to the
This
dead
place
end.
you got here, Angel. Where's the sheriff?
That way. He points to or through the dead end.
Ivy's gonna pop see unseen. See if there's something there they can't see with their normal sight.
Okay. Does that require a rouse?
It doesn't require a rouse, but I think it does have a roll on its own.
Okay.
Yep, Woods aspects or Resolve aspects. So. Let me get over here.
Come on, pretty boy, let's go check out the wall.
Oh boy. Deeper in the hole.
Oh, we ain't deeper in the hole yet. This hole goes much, much deeper. I can tell. I can feel it.
I think I'm gonna do width.
I already feel like I'm at least 6 feet.
More like 432.
And
Sure,
as they
so-
go forward, Clyde's just gonna look back at Ivy and Cheryl and just like mouth to them. Save me.
You see no sympathy in Cheryl's eyes.
Ivy's not even paying attention. She's more focused on the wall.
Now, is Sense the Unseen for supernatural things, like you can see ghosts or
Yes.
like magic
Yes.
spells and
Yes.
stuff like that?
You can see obfuscated people if you can beat their obfuscation.
Mm-hmm.
See ghosts.
There's... So similar to how you are having a deafness to the voice, Ivy, you are having a blindness. It's not that your eyes don't work. Whatever you feel when you use this discipline, or whatever changes, like if your eyes kind of go bloodshot as you're sending Vitae to it or something, that happens. But you are getting like a negative back. It's as if this place just eats the supernatural or something.
Can I study the wall we're facing and maybe give it a wits awareness to see if I can see if there's like a false wall, kind of like in the labyrinth, how it's all white, so you can't really see the depth differences?
Sure. Yeah, give it to me. See, none of you have occult, if I recall correctly. Let's see. Yep, no occult, no occult,
That's 6 successes
no occult.
and a crit.
Nice.
Occult. All right, yeah. So as you're exploring, there's kind of a crumble of salt with a rather larger rock down at the base here. And you move it aside, and it does look like a rectangular carved-out area that is clearly different from the rest of the wall.
I don't even miss a beat. I look over my shoulder at Clyde. I'm like, this way. Push the door or stone aside and make my way through.
You all right. So yeah, all right. So Wade's like, come, whatever. Come on, pretty boy, this way. Clyde, you're completely like, whatever. And Wade just kind of, and he sort of like splats against the door.
I was about to say, you're like the leather version of Indiana Jones. Until you weren't. Now you just...
Clyde, you get a little bit of a tingle as Angel climbs up into the machine here. Sir, if you're... could you actually... I was going to do it. There's another rock over there. Can you move that? I'm going to move this loader in and pick it up for you.
Please do. Ring the doorbell.
Yeah,
I'll move.
That rock right over there.
I'll play the stooge.
Okay, you move it, and it looks like forklift kind of spacing for the rectangles for the tines to go in and lift up a.
Gotcha.
So, if it helps you, can I say save face with you? That's not offensive,
Sure.
is it? Okay. If it helps you to save face, Wade.
There's no saving his face.
No.
Unless you were probably one of the strongest specimens of your kind, you probably couldn't have lifted this. So bumping into it or necessitating a machine, well, it is what it is. All right, clear away, please. Is this thing... Though, interestingly, this salt mine just naturally eats that noise. Like, Clyde, to you, if you're in proximity, you get that pleasant, like, ooh, you know, you get that tingle, right? It's a machine. You like there's the explosions going on inside, and oh man, you know, maybe you're thinking about, oh, if I just dropped like some industrial diesel into a sports car,
How
or
fast
whatever.
that thing goes.
But the sound dies quickly. For as much as this thing is rumbling, unless someone was standing within a very short distance, this isn't like an echoey cave that you might get in a movie. This place eats sound. But anyway, and this block lifts. All right, after you all, and don't worry, I'll get the door behind you. I'll know when you need to be let out, so I'll see you on this side, Angel says.
Ever think this might be a trap?
Too late if it is, pretty girl. Let's go.
By now she has drops and goes after him.
Clyde
All of you?
sulks as he goes along with.
All of you pass through the salty threshold, and in fact, you're having a hard time even hearing that through the door. And the last two little bits of light that were from the forklift spacers get covered over as Angel apparently replaces the rocks that were covering them up. He would have told you if you don't want to wear your safety gear after you pass through, you don't have to, but unless you can see in the dark, you should at least keep the light on. But you'll know where to go. And so now you are in a dark corridor.
Wade's no dummy. He turns the light on the helmet. Takes a real good look around.
Not in my eyes. Not in my eyes. Oh, God.
Yes, does anyone have enhanced senses, eyesight? Because this might be, you want to avoid that.
Hold on. All right.
There we go. You are cool enough to wear them at night, so that works.
Ivy didn't even have it popped. She didn't have to worry about it. Though she was about to until Wade turned the light on. Well, I guess I don't need to do that then.
With the lights and you moving forward, it would seem as if Angel was correct, because there's really only one way to obviously go. Now, Wade, you can be as conspiratorial with your Nos instinct as much as you'd like, because there could be tunnels anywhere, but there's at least one obvious path. And you all quickly find yourselves in the light that you have, walking down a tunnel that begins to have shapes forming from the salt in the walls. Now, Clyde, interestingly enough for you, there's something at least more comfortable. This has been sculpted. this has been made. These statues, as rather vague and Art Deco in appearance, with usually no more detail than, well, a lot of the other Art Deco statues around the city, or the Oscar statue at the award ceremonies for the movies. But this hallway has been carved and lined with statues. And it is relieving your toreadorness, we'll say. As you are surrounded by art, as odd and somewhat grim as it is. While the facial expressions on these statues are rather limited, there are expressions of the face and even of the body. These look like people who might be morose or sad or pleading. It's simple, but it's also very powerful. The simplicity conveys the sense of guilt or desperation that each of these statues that you pass by are providing you as you walk down.
Wade will quietly walk up to whatever statue Clyde's looking at, lean over close to the statue, and just lewdly lick it once.
Okay.
Just to break his trance. Yep. So, can we keep going? This place is creeping me out.
God. You know, there's
yeah, your tongue almost like it shrivels in front of everyone as you do that. It's like salt on a slug, really. All right, I'm sorry. What are you saying, Clyde?
Oh God. You know what? No, I'm ignoring him. Just gonna move on. I'm just gonna. Clyde stops and he notices one of the female statues and he just comes up to it, honk, and then continues.
They are all very much laid bare before you all. There's not a super ton of detail, but there's definitely enough to get the job done. Wink, wink. So you walk. Cheryl, Ivy, any thoughts, interactions?
Cheryl is writing down Wade and Clyde's antics.
Okay.
Make reports later.
He's just making comments. I am almost absolutely certain that this is probably going to be our tombs.
I agree with that.
Good observation, pretty boy.
Well, if that were the case, they really want to make some enemies.
At least we'd be well preserved down here.
Look, maybe we will. Wade here already looks like a mummy, so I think he's gonna be fine either way.
Oh, believe me, I'll be fine.
That is to say, Cherry, you got a lot of confidence here. Why ain't you staggered?
Cheryl does not reply to you because you did not say her name.
I told you, she's uptight.
Yeah, well, it just takes a little fun to loosen her up.
The salt sculptures cease, or the sculptures here, though the tunnel still is manufactured, and right after the final statue, just shortly ahead, is a set of old tracks, probably for minecart tracks, but these definitely don't look new. They're not decrepit, but they're certainly preserved. So you have final statue, a little bit of space, and then a set of railroad tracks starts and continues down. There are no statues lining the hallway when the railroad starts, but the tunnel is still nicely formed.
Keep walking.
Okay.
Keep,
Wade's in the lead.
Keep looking, keep observing, taking it in, making my mental map.
I don't really have much comment.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, it's at least a road to follow, Clyde.
It is. That's honestly the only thing he's thinking.
That's
I'm wondering if maybe a little bit in his head. He's thinking could either take the missus or Betty out on this. The Porsche is Betty, by the way.
noted.
Short for Betty Boop.
Cheryl, note that for me, please.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. You follow the tracks. It takes a couple turns, but there is one fork that you approach. The tracks go down the right hallway, and there's a left hallway where there are no tracks.
Is there
Left or
air
right.
coming from either direction?
As you are walking further in, there's a split, and you could go right where the tracks continue, or you can turn left. And there's no tracks going down that hallway.
I'd look over my shoulder at Clyde, and I say in my best Walt Whitman, even though it's not Walt Whitman, I choose the path less traveled and take a left.
Okay. Anyone else
All
going
right,
left
big
with
guy.
Wade?
Yes, I will as well. At this point is where I activate heightened senses. Trying to get sort of a read, see if I can find any other noise than big, echoey salt mine.
Well, that's it. There's not a lot of echoes. But
Not anything.
heightened senses hearing would still help, but there's not. It's not an echoey place. Ivy, Cheryl, are you staying at the crossroads? Are you going left, or are you going right?
Cheryl would follow the group and also note that the path is not clear. There's no signage. There's nothing. This is, this is not what they were told.
Okay.
They were
Ivy?
told it would be a clear path.
Ivy's just going along. Looking around.
Maybe this is some kind of like little test. Got ourselves in a little maze here and we're supposed to find the sheriff.
At the
It's
end of the
very
tunnel.
inefficient.
A short ways, maybe only a couple 100 feet. With a couple curves along the way, a few twists. There's a dead end. And at the dead end is a sculpture, though not quite like one that you saw before. This one has more detail. This one, however, is gargantuan compared to you all.
By the time they catch up, I've got my book out and I'm sketching it.
It is of a figure partially kneeling down, looking up as if to deflect something. And on the statue's face is a face of terror. You can almost feel the terror from this salt statue as it is down on one knee, looking up, holding a hand above its head.
I like this one better.
And it's probably close to 30 feet high. It is massive. You cannot miss it.
Ivy is going to look up above the statue if she can, to see if there's anything it might be looking at specifically.
So as you look up, like directly up, there seems to be a mirror positioned in the small dome of this chamber. And your light beam strikes it and seemingly scatters your light down over the face of the kneeling statue. Somewhat like a disco ball effect. Like you have one beam of light going up and then it's kind of diffused.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't exactly expecting that we'd be invited to investigate some pieces of Gothic architecture. Wade, good news. You might just be the leather Indiana Jones yet.
Time is yet to tell. I'll look up to shine my light up additionally where she was looking to see this mirror and see if there's additional. I'm looking for additional mirrors, see if there's other reflective surfaces bouncing light around in hidden places. Lighting up maybe little caches or niches.
While there's nothing that's apparent, adding two beams of light, especially as you two might be looking or shifting from two different slight angles, it definitely is creating an effect of these little refracted and reflected light beams playing across the face and the arm of this kneeling statue looking up in terror, reminding you maybe of like dancing flames or something playing across it.
Nice place. Let's go check the other track, because I don't see any doors. Looks like this poor sod got burned by the sun, if you ask me.
Going back, it's really only one way that you took down here. It wiggled a little bit. It twisted. But you get back on track, very literally, and you take the right branch. And after a short ways, there is a large metallic... It's a door, but maybe it wasn't a door at one time. It is open to you as it opens out from the way that you're approaching. It reminds you all maybe of some, like with the age of this place, even the age of Cleveland itself, like some old heavy steel boiler. Like we're talking a massive industrial boiler kind of a thing that has been made into such a way that that there's a door that swings out and there's a chamber beyond.
Knock, knock!
And you all enter the chamber. And in so doing, you are in something more massive than the one that you found after you strayed from the path. It looks like you're in a massive rib cage, as the salt has been expertly smoothed and carved, almost polished. 6 gargantuan statues, naked as the rest, are seemingly holding this dome above you all. Their poses, as well as inscriptions that hang from them, are something that all of you should have at least a passing familiarity. Because as you read them, Each of the statues is reflective of one of each of the 6 traditions of the Camarilla, and their pose and their facial features back up either what it is that is happening or what can happen if you don't. And they do seem to be burdens to these statues, as all 6 seem to desperately, despite the pain or the effort, try to uphold this large dome. Ahead of you, if you all are standing here in the foreground. In fact, if you all want to slide your tokens right here, there's another large boilerplate, round like the door that you entered. There are brackets welded onto it and chains on those brackets. Manacles of different shapes and sizes are found on the myriad chains. And before is some sort of a raised dais. Upon the throne that is on the dais, you are greeted by a creature wearing elegant, plush, red robes. Certainly of a bygone age. A thin red veil does cover his face from his hat down to his lower lip, such that this is the only flesh you can see. Though as your lights do shine on that bit of flesh, it's clear that, well, Clyde, Wade by comparison, you should kiss him and give him a reach around, because damn if he ain't beautiful.
Why stop these ones? These are all these ones. He just grimaces a mock smile.
I'll grab the 2 others here. We have Ivy. And I have a token. Whoops. There we go. Wade's always got to be the difficult one.
Yep.
He's the round one in a bunch of squares. The creature, as you are panning up and seeing, simply snaps, and you hear ka-chunk, 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 as lights in the chamber begin one by one, lighting up, such that now each of the 6 statues is lit from above. He himself is lit from underneath. There is a spotlight directly over this boilerplate, which bears the insignia of the Camarilla. There seems to be some big other boiler round, almost like it would be like an aura behind him, embedded in this wall. And there are also, apparently one for each of you, 4 floodlights pointed down where you're standing. You also see, from recessed lights, that there are other statues that are lit up. These are going back to statues more like that were on the entrance coming in, though they actually are very detailed, and gruesomely so. One of the statues, for example, is clutching a real wooden stake driven into its chest. One of them is clutching a throat where a real, actual executioner's sword is seemingly severing it. There is one that is somewhat like the statue that you found at the end of the left hall. This one would be more of the shriveled one, looking up, as there's one special light that seems to shine on it. And it looks like this thing, as there's a very purposeful pile of dust forming at its feet. There are several of these statues with very real, well, minus the sunlight, with very real weapons or methods of destroying kindred.
Thank you for answering my summons.
The voice speaks loudly, projected down at you. This chamber does, maybe the properties of how it was shined or shaped or something, does somewhat amplify his voice in an echo. Maybe it's bouncing off the metal plate down from him up to you. However it's working, his voice is understandable.
Madam Dulac says her greetings.
I'm sure she did. But she is irrelevant for why it is that I have called you here.
And you can see that while the veil does only really reveal his chin, the way that he talks is almost accented strangely, like his mouth is larger than it should be. In pop culture terms, you're getting something like a mix of Emperor Palpatine with the mouth of Sauron hidden behind a red veil. So even, I mean, you can hear, but you can also very well lip read this oversized mouth as it speaks and accentuates.
Now know that you are not in trouble with me. Not yet, anyway. And I hope that you never will be. Undoubtedly, you saw the statues.
Yes, sir.
Especially the big one. It was pretty nice. Liked it.
You strayed from the path and you saw that statue, did you?
Your, man angel said the path would be clear. I didn't figure the messy tracks I was following was clear. There was a nice clean path on the left. I was simply following instructions, Mr. Sheriff. If I made a mistake, I apologize.
You didn't make a mistake as long as you learned. That is a lesson. Tell me, kindred, are any of you familiar with the story of Lot from Genesis?
Wasn't much of a Bible guy myself.
His lips curl, and man, those teeth are... Oh. Best not to ask questions on who he bites for his meals, because damn. Do any of the rest of you speak up about any knowledge in or out of character you want to present for the story of Lot in Genesis?
Clyde is shutting the hell up.
It's vaguely familiar.
For many years, I've had many fledglings for various reasons in my chamber. And I'll tell you, with the passing years, fewer and fewer know. I shall enlighten you, if only briefly, and then I'll get to the point. You see, there were great cities upon a plain. Sodom being one of them. Perhaps a word you younger folk are more familiar with. Well, there's a reason why it's called as such. For you see, the men of that city misbehaved. They didn't follow the law, God's law. And so, he sent angels down to destroy the wicked. Lot, being a man who follows the law, was allowed to escape. His wife was given a simple instruction. Do not look back. Do not look upon the destruction, for you will be destroyed if you do. Lot escaped with his daughters. Lot's wife, however, missing her home, missing her old life, tarried and decided to look back at those wicked places, at a life that was no longer hers. And when the plains were smitten with fire and sulfur, she was turned to a pillar of salt for her disobedience, for her doubt in the law of God.
Wade has this, like, almost epiphanic moment and interrupts, unconsciously pointing at the bigger statue. Oh, pillars of salt! And then looks back and goes, yeah, okay.
And so, those who stray from the path, those who break the law, will face righteous judgment, as is my job as sheriff to enforce. But you are not here for judgment, nor for a lesson. You simply garnered one, which could help you along the way. I have a task for you. I have a way that you may prove yourselves to the very Camarilla which has kept you safe, fostered and nurtured you. And thus you have been deemed worthy to carry out this task. And, while you may not necessarily like it, I will not hear of protest. You see, I will not give you any burden that you yourself cannot bear. Now,
and as he says now, two figures step out from behind the throne, and one of them is tickling your collective brains as this is the first time being able to see the figure clearly, but the way that the arms hang or that the fingers might end in pointy bits, one of those figures is most likely the messenger who found each of you and delivered you the summons. The other is almost exactly the same, as if a twin. It's damn near imperceivable, the differences between the two. So maybe it was the other one? Or it could have been the first. It's difficult, but still.
These are my scourges, one of whom will be training you for what I am going to give you. I'm not going to send you out unmercifully, nor unprepared. As difficult as some lessons are to learn with the lives that you have been given in your embrace, you'll find that there are many fair moments among the stern ones. And so, my scourge has the details of what it is I need him to teach you in order for you to prepare to infiltrate a ship. You see, soon there will be an ore freighter at the docks, and among the cargo it hauls will be something that is not ore. It will be something that the prince himself must have. There is a suspicion that it is going to Detroit, a filthy place, a degenerate place. And it cannot go there, nor can it land anywhere else. And thus you will aid my scourge in its retrieval from the ship. It's that easy. But the devil's in the details, is it not? Yes. Well, the Scourge will know what to do, or rather how to mold you to assist the recovery of this thing from that ship. Now, while you have me, I may deign to answer a few questions before I ask you leave. Do you have any?
Wade takes quick stock of the other three, looking to each one to see if they were going to open their mouths or not.
Ivy has no questions.
Clyde is just grimacing.
This place you got here, how long's it been here?
Ages.
I'm kind of digging it.
At least since the age of steam, when the trains had dominated this city.
Really? Does it cross the water? Oh, so it was only one question then.
But he didn't reply.
You see, yeah. This is great and all. Any moisturizer down here? This place is not cool. I like it. I like this. I like the vibe. The statues coming in. Real nice. Like that. Like that.
A hand, at your question, points down from the throne to this statue here, as it looks like there's some sort of vat of water it is being dipped into.
There is your moisturizer. Freshen up.
This thing coming in on the boat got some kind of value other than somebody wants it.
It has value beyond what I know, though I don't ask questions. I enforce. I was told to assemble some people together to get this thing. My scourge.
Have a name?
Call it what you will. It is a not piece of ore, as far as I know. If you go on an ore ship and you find a not piece of ore, then that is it.
I understand completely. Your scourge guy is an angel. Yeah, driver.
No.
Huh. Got a name?
Yes.
I'm telling me.
Why?
Makes it easier to remember who he is.
I will let him introduce himself to you.
I look directly to the other two immediately, expectantly, as if I'm waiting for them to speak.
Cheryl was just writing down what he says.
I look to the two scourges.
Names are provided. I do not have them because of reasons, so...
Thing 1 and Thing 2.
That's perfectly fine, because that's what I had as a placeholder. So, my mind to your mind. So for right now, Thing 1 and Thing 2.
We're done with Bible study here. When we start training in camp?
Camp. No camp. We will train in the city.
You sleep down here. Pretty cozy. Safe. Dark. Quiet.
This is my domain.
He just kind of acknowledges it with a nod.
Sheriff Kozad? Wonderful meeting you. Nice place. Beautiful architecture. I don't have any other personal questions, so...
And from you, Ivy Hayes.
No questions for me, sir.
And from you, Cheryl Page.
You're muted.
Cheryl just finishes writing everything that he set down. Well, if that's all you can tell us, I suppose, right? There's nothing else to ask.
I see.
Any chance I can come back sometime and just wander?
If you are summoned, or if you break the law and must be dragged in, you'll get a personal tour. And a personal audience with me.
He casts his hand downwards at the boilerplate with the ankh of the Camarilla here. amid the chains and the brackets that presumably would manacle you to that plate and keep you from moving and doing things.
So, no wandering.
No wandering. This is a special treat, as well as a warning. And
Your hospitality is appreciated, Sheriff.
And he now points over to the hospitality law.
I can respect your domain. I've been taught the traditions. Madame Duloc was fairly thorough. She did a good job at keeping me out of the sunlight and out of somebody's firing line, so I can keep that up.
You are lucky to have her as a primogen. Others, not so much.
I'll trade eye glances with my 3 companions, like, who the fuck are your primogen? Like almost a prideful look if he could accomplish one.
Cheryl, you would know that your boss is the primogen of the venture of the city. So the head of all the Ventru. Not like there's 1,000 of them or something, but he is the first of them. So, but did he mean Eric Hayes? There's other clans with other primogens, so
If that is all, then you shall be escorted through here. And my scourge will tell you of what he needs of you.
I'll pass on your greetings to Madame Duloc.
Thank you, Sheriff, for your hospitality and the opportunity to help serve you and the tower.
I hope you mean those words, or at least come to mean them sooner than later. Mr. McCoy.
Worst case scenario, like you said, come back here for a good old whip. Or worse.
The whipping would be the least of your worries. I don't like having to do some things. And so I've become efficient at doing them. To get it over more quickly. I pray my hand is never forced.
No taken.
As he removes his glove, and certainly there's gnarly crinkled, and he takes that and he gestures dismissively for you all to leave.
Wade doesn't even miss a beat, turns on a heel, bowing ahead just slightly, grabbing Clyde on the way and marching. We gotta
No.
go. It's time to leave this fucking
You
place.
notice Clyde just starts going speed walking fast, so much faster.
Ladies, mentioning to Ivy and Cheryl, ladies, as he's continuing to
Yep.
usher
Ivy
further away
is
from
going.
this guy.
Cheryl leaves in a not hurried pace because she is unwavered.
We love us adventure.
All right. So one of the scourges stays behind, and the other one begins to walk forward, walking around the metal plate that is standing before the throne of the sheriff. And, well, I mean, if you all have already started to back out, there's one way out. That's through the big boiler door, back onto the tracks, to go through the, I'm sorry, to go through the big boiler door to get on the tracks and take you back out, as you have been deemed worthy to do this thing on behalf of the Camarilla of Cleveland. As there is just to make sure my grumbly voice conveyed it, there's going to be an ore ship in dock soon. Aboard that ship is something that is not ore. The prince has deemed that it cannot leave this place. It cannot end up in another city, whether that city is Detroit or it's up in Canada, or it goes out east to someplace else.
Hey, Wade, what was that thing you told me earlier? Was it, it's not what's in the box, it's who?
Yeah. Get that kind of vibe.
Wait. Suicide mission or not?
No, don't think so. I got too much use. They got too much use for us. We're fledglings, we're new, we're disposable. If we couldn't accomplish it, they wouldn't send us in the first place, so must be doable at the very least. At the very most, they got something else planned. That's how they work, these tower folks. You ought to know that.
Yeah. Let's hope we can just get it over quickly.
The Scourge that's escorting you, has been there as you're walking, and is taking you back out, presumably to where Angel is waiting to lift the wall up here for you. And you had a question that the sheriff wasn't going to answer on his behalf. You had asked the Scourge's name. As well, you were promised that the Scourge would make arrangements with you so that your merits could be measured, perhaps even strengthened or prepared for the mission that you are going to support him on in the infiltration of this ore ship. Scourge, what is your name?
Appropriately so. Damocles. Because that is exactly what I am, and the role I end up here holding amongst the Camarilla.
Damocles. I guess your brother's name is Angel.
Were it so. Still. Greetings to the lot of you fledglings. I trust you've been briefed.
Mildly. We got something to do. You got something to train. And we gotta sneak on a boat and steal something that's not ore. I'll sum it up.
Well, I certainly now know who speaks for this coterie.
Please don't point that finger at me.
You seem to be very quick to volunteer.
I'm just, ready to.
Not sure when to end up here speaking in place.
I see. I heard shut up. I speak it.
Clearly not. You're still speaking.
I noticed that too. It's a problem I've had. Long time. Sorry.
Wade?
Yeah.
Please shut up.
Yeah.
Clyde is desperately stifling his laughter at the moment. That 3 composure is barely been holding this entire session.
As you reach the end, so you walk along the path, and then the tracks stop, and then you get to where there's no path, and you get these very repentant, very sad-looking people emerging from the walls. You talk and walk. There might be more that you say back and forth between you and Damocles. And as you get to the end, there are the same like rectangular holds. And as you were promised, whatever, the signal would be given to Angel to operate the lift in order to get the wall. However, Damocles, would you please do the honors? And lift this salt slab?
Absolutely.
You...
Placing
Go ahead.
Placing a here clawed hand amongst what appears to be mortar at first, yet his fingers insert themselves as though he was pushing them through clay. Lifting here with his shoulder, this emancipated, this thin, gaunt, near creature suddenly lifts, and the stone, as though maybe counterbalanced, lifts high, until he puts a little bit more effort into it, and you end up seeing it suddenly rocket high, hitting hard and echoing down the chamber, as though a bell had been rung, and telling of his coming.
Angel is on the other side with the lights on the lift. He waves to you all.
Yeah. Neat trick. Wade, like, does a couple side steps around him to get past where the thing would fall if it were to fall, to make sure he's on the correct side of it.
The correct side is under it.
Well, yeah, Wade skirts and gives birth to the guy who just threw it up in the air. Is like, shows him a little respect for it. Yeah, it's getting. I feel like it's the sun coming up. It's pretty dark down here. Can we go now?
Oh, I thought you weren't afraid. And Ivy just walks calmly underneath it.
As does Cheryl.
Bill out of stealing stones. No, Clyde will go through last.
Are you at least checking out Damocles' muscles or butt or something? Or, I don't know what's going on.
He's, in all due respect, he's trying to avoid looking at Damocles as much as possible.
That might be for the best. Because, you don't have anything in your gullet anymore, but you might throw up a little bit. Alright, so you pass under, and Damocles will promise to give you the instruction that you need, and tells you that before you depart, Angel will give you another gathering point, a place to meet where Damocles will meet you, and will begin your evaluation for this mission of infiltrating this freighter ship, and what is to be expected of you, and to test your skills and abilities, as you will be offering support. Now, primarily, this is, we'll cross that bridge maybe next time. As the salt pillar closes, and you see Damocles, you see Damocles is like, because he didn't even use the lift, like the lift holds. He just claws in the salt, and it comes down, and you're left with Angel, who is going to escort you back off the property. He'll try and make some small talk, not necessarily sassy. I mean, he'll say, "Oh, you survived. Good. I hope everything went well."
Like, shut up. Just get us out of here.
Yeah, sure enough, one direct route out. Taken back through the mines, up the long elevator. As you walk back out the across here, and you get back into the hangar.
Were we given a time frame for when the ship is supposed to be on?
Yes, but I haven't as your storyteller.
Okay.
Because as you load back up in the van, it seems like you have another set of letters that also bear the mark of the sheriff. Similar to before, these would give you some sort of temporary status in the comings and goings of things, should it be needed, to show any superiors to whom you report that you're on a mission from Gad. And, well, I mean, the way the sheriff kind of conducts himself, he seemingly had a lofty opinion of his opinion and his enforcement of that opinion. But yes, you have been given a mission from God, so he says, and you are to meet at a time and a place once more. It is not the same park, as Damocles is going to, well, that might be your first test, is how do you get here, as you all look at the location. And you will have, let's say, 2 evenings in order to arrange your affairs before you are to meet at this place and time, and Damocles will begin several nights of training for when the ship is expected to arrive, such that you can carry out your mission alongside him. But what we'll do is we'll pick up the training in session 2. I have to imagine, I don't know offhand because, let go, let God. Your training is actually in Damocles' hands. I have not arranged anything in particular beyond what I'm going to send some notes to Derek about. And he is going to be your drill sergeant. He may not like you. You may not like him. But what he does is going to be essential to work beside him. And you must trust that the sheriff who deemed you worthy of this task on behalf of the prince, you will be able to endure, as those salt pillar statues have been able to endure for at least since the age of steam, contextually, a clue that was gotten by Wade. So there we go. We'll end here. Though I do believe, I believe we talked a little bit about it, in that we should discuss stains. Like, we're not doing EXP because this is the limited format of 3 sessions. So there's not really anything to rank into. But what we can do, because we did have, you, Wade, drinking someone dry, who is helpless. That was a stain on your humanity. And for those of you watching, what you do, or a way you can resolve this, is at the end of your session, or if it's appropriate, at some other point, you'll make a humanity check to see if you have become that much more of a monster, a little bit less, a little bit more heartless, a little bit less conscientious of the humans around whom you work or walk or whatever. And
perhaps
so,
most importantly, being able to maintain control of oneself. For it is your humanity that allows you to do so.
and it looks like, there we go. Wade, congratulations. You feel terrible. It's kind of like an emotional hangover, everyone, where you are filled with regret and pain at what you have done, but that is the sign that you still have that spark of humanity still inside you, that you are not completely dead inside. Now, I don't know yeah. If you want to say something, Clyde, I was thinking about that.
So, at the beginning of the session, did the challenge, race car driving, all of that, and person definitely totaled their car.
Yes.
And Clyde has no clear certainty if he is complacent in the possible injury of this person.
The fate of the driver is unknown, and the very clear signal to challenge was given by the Revs, and it was a challenge that was accepted. In that regard, you may not necessarily feel bad about what happened because whatever, some cocksure person decided to race you on Dead Man's Curve. If
it does line up, it does line up with one of my convictions, which is never back down from a challenge.
If you want to feel bad about something, it might be that in reflection, you did endanger the life of your passenger. Whatever her name is, because it's not important, because she was just, she was a passenger.
No, her life wasn't in any danger. So. Not at all. Maybe her criminal record, but not her life. Not yet.
Working on it.
So, Clyde has some things to think about, but maybe not a test to make. And I think Ivy and Cheryl, I think you two played it pretty well. I don't think you did anything that really jeopardized who you are or what you are. I mean, the alley cat feeding you've done that. You've done that many times before. You didn't kill the guy. You made sure his phone was back there, and he kind of had it. So,
whatever happens to him in that alley is out of her hands.
Well, yeah. I mean, after that, you're like, I don't know. Some person comes around and steals his wallet or something.
Community 3.
Well, I'm sorry. What was that? What was that, Wade?
Oh, I was asking Ivy if her humanity was 3. She's like, well, whatever happened after I left, that's not my problem. You left in there. Of course it's your problem.
And I think that resolves our humanity issues. So for going into training, none of you are closer to becoming a slavering beast, something that is less human than human, as that's currently what you're struggling to do every single night that you wake up. Yep, you will be returned by Angel, who is going to ask the 4 of you, by the way, where his uniform went, because he needs that for work. Man, there's a summer cricket in that van.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's not a peep.
Oh, man. I don't know if that's humanity breaking, but you're on thin ice, mister.
Angel, I couldn't tell you. I was, my head was ringing after that ride, so I couldn't,
I had other things in my mind, so I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
Cheryl will say something along the lines of, it's your responsibility to watch over your things.
I mean, you did park it in a hangar with all these people working at the mine. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're back here at the park, and you are let out to go do your thing.
Oh,
Clyde, can you roll me?
Oh no!
I want you to roll 4 d10s. Roll 4 d10s. Yeah, just for reasons. Okay.
Please don't do it to her. Please don't do it to her. She did nothing wrong.
So
Yeah, but whose fault is that they're involved in this situation, Clyde?
the good news is you're only missing your hubcaps. And your car still works. However, your catalytic converter's been stolen.
That's what you get for bringing a flashy ride.
Looks like Betty got booped.
No laughing, this is serious. We're playing vampire. Come on, guys, no laughing. You're ruining my game.
He just like rips off the seat coverings and throws it at Wade.
Shut up. I mean, Wade, if you're getting a ride back, you gotta sit next to Clyde, so you can bear that wrath.
No, too late. He's already climbing in the car. He's got the head down. He's like, just walk home. Walk home.
Wade waves as Clyde drives off. It's in the rear view.
You see, he adjusts the rear view mirror, so he isn't even looking at it.
Well, we've established if I can't see you, I can't feel guilty, so... Oh my gosh!
Too many friendly vibes from the other two that were with us, and kind of just gives them kind of an acknowledgement of just a kind of a head nod. Well, nice meeting you. See you next time, I guess.
I have no idea what that's like. Do I, Spectre?
Nice handwriting, by the way, Cheryl. I like it. It's pretty.
Cheryl doesn't say anything about it.
Wade turns on a heel and walks to the nearest disappearance point that he can.
Fortunately for you, there's a lot of trees in Cleveland, so you can absolutely do that Scooby-Doo thing where you like walk behind the telephone pole and then you don't walk out the other side.
And he does. It's a practiced motion. It's a quick look around, a little bit of wits and awareness, and gone.
Well, what we're gonna do, everyone? Let's go raid someone. We're gonna go raid VexFX, who's very much aware of spooky stuff and role-playing games. Is doing some software and game development on his AI. And
thanks for playing, everybody. It was such a fun night, and Matt, thanks, man. Kudos.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
It's been years since I've run Vampire, so I'm
All the
glad
old
that
familiar
it's
places,
fun.
eh, Matty?
What's that?
All the old familiar places, eh, Matty?
It's I love it. Thank you very much for I don't know, getting this guy back in the saddle to be an ST. And I'll see you all next Tuesday around 10 o'clock Eastern, such that we're gonna do this again. You have some training to do and apparently a ship to infiltrate and a knot ore to find. Whatever's gonna happen with that. But
Wade's gonna have so much fun with that.
I hope so. I've got a lot riding on this. I really hope that you do.
Ore. Yep, that's ore.
Yeah, y'all are just like sifting through, like just.
Did you find any not ore yet?
Yep.
Keep finding ore.
All right, we're raiding. Bye, everyone. Woohoo!
Bye-bye.
Night.